Matthew 7:13 through 27. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction. Many enter through it, but small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. Watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. By their fruit you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus, by the fruit you will recognize them. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? And in your name drive out demons, in your name perform many miracles? Then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. One thing this passage teaches me is that, first of all, there is a narrow gate and there is a wide gate. And it's my choice to choose if I will walk in that narrow gate or will I choose to walk in the wide gate. And the narrow gate, it's not easy. However, when you choose the narrow gate, when you choose to do the right things, you will inherit the kingdom of God. But if you choose to go to the wide gate, which has many follow the wide gate, then you will perish forever. And you know, I was just thinking, imagine being in pain forever. Imagine being burnt forever. There is no end to it. You know, salvation is free, but many fail to receive it because they think they still have time, because they still think salvation is just a joke, or they think that God is not real. But He is surely real. God is coming back. And if we are not ready, there will be judgment. You either go to hell or you go to heaven. But the choice is yours. God does not force anybody into this salvation. He has given you a choice. He has given you a choice to either choose the narrow gate or the wide gate. And then the other thing this passage teaches me is that there will be true and false prophets. And for you to know the true and false prophets, you have to be intimate with Christ. You have to create that foundation in Him. You have to have that relationship with Him, because only Him who can give you true revelation, only Him who can hearken your spirit, only Him who can tell you true and false prophets. And when you don't have that intimate relationship with Christ, you will be deceived. There will be false prophets who come wearing clothes like sheep. You might think it's just a sheep, but it's a wolf. That it's a wolf that is wearing the clothing of sheep. So it's really up to you. If you want to have that relationship with God, if you create that relationship with Jesus Christ of Nazareth, then you will be able to know the truth. You will be able to know the true prophets and the false prophets. The other thing that this passage teaches me is true and false disciples. Sometimes it's easy for us to pretend. It's easy for somebody to say, oh, I love God, but they're not walking in the ways of God. It's easy for me to pretend to show you how much I love God, but behind the curtains, behind these videos, I'm doing something else. And only God who knows who is true and who is not. You cannot lie to God. What you do in the dark, what you do in the light, He sees it all. And He knows your heart. He knows you more than you know yourself. So are you lying to other people? Are you lying to yourself that you are His disciple? Or do you want to have a true relationship with Him? And then the last thing, this passage teaches me about the wise and foolish builders. Let your foundation be on Jesus Christ. Don't let your foundation be on something else. If you don't allow Jesus Christ to be your foundation, your house will fall and you will fail in life. You might end up losing your life if you don't allow Christ to be the foundation. The enemy, he's always after us. He wants to kill, steal, and destroy us. But for you to live this life, for you to be steady, for you to be able to walk upright and boldly, you have to lay your foundation on Jesus Christ, because He is the builder and the finisher of all things. He is your author. He is the author of the beginning and the end. He knows your beginning and He knows your end. So, are you gonna walk in the narrow, or are you gonna walk in the wide gate? Are you gonna be deceived by false prophets, or will you allow Jesus Christ to give you revelation and discernment for you to know the true prophets? Are you a true or a false disciple of Jesus Christ? And lastly, are you a wise or a foolish builder? Will you build your house on the sand, or will you build your house on the rock? And the rock is Jesus Christ.